keeping you safe. The Max Defender 8 weather team on News Channel 8. Live, this is News Channel 8 at 4 on your side.
Hurricane Helene now downgraded to a tropical storm as it churns northward. Before it passed the Tampa Bay area, though, it claimed at least 7 lives and left a trail of destruction. For many communities, this level of storm surge has not been seen in more than a century.
Good afternoon. I'm Stacy Scheibel.
And I'm Keith Kate. Thank you for joining us. This storm moved quickly through, but recovering from it will take time.
Cleanup is underway across the Bay Area, but first we have an update on some openings and closures. Westbound lanes of the Gandy Bridge are now open again, along with both lanes of the Howard Franklin Bridge. At this hour, the Courtney Campbell remains closed. Both Tampa International and St. Pete Clearwater airports resumed operations this morning.
And dozens of people are waiting to get across the Tom Stewart Causeway to get to Madeira Beach.
Law enforcement is keeping people off the island right now, and one of our crews was escorted off as well. News Channel 8's Marilyn Parker joins us live. What was the sheriff's office saying to you, Marilyn?
So that was about 2 hours ago, and they let me know that they were actually still doing some rescues on the island, and they wanted us to go ahead and go across the bridge. But if you look behind me, you can see the bridge is still blocked off. Law enforcement stopping people unless you're an emergency crew or some of those big dumpster trucks. They're allowing those folks to get through, but everyone else, they're going to have to wait. And what they're doing is they're waiting right here at the McDonald's on the corner, and also there's a parking lot full at the Publix, if you're familiar with the one right there on the corner of Demore Road across the street from Madeira Fundamental. There are a lot of people here waiting. One person even told me that his car flooded out in that parking lot. I want you to go ahead and take a look at some video we shot before we had to leave the island. This is driving down Gulf Boulevard. We were literally going up and down as if we were in a mountain, but we were going on top of sand. The crews were scooping up that sand and putting them into large piles. There was a whole lot of sand just covering the roads. And we actually saw some standing water in some parts, but there was a whole lot of debris, broken down cars, and even a fire hydrant, was spilling out with water. And once you started to get into the neighborhood, you started to see some people actually cleaning up and taking out their own furniture. One man told us he knows his home is destroyed. He had water up to above his countertops, so he and his dogs went into the crawl space.
I wasn't sure if it was going to come all the way up to the crawl space, and I would have had to try to get out, which was not a good idea to put myself in that situation. But yeah, everything's ruined. Everything in my house is ruined.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you think you would ever stick it out again if there was a storm?
No. In fact, I think I might move away from the beach.
That person said he may move away from the beach or just try and get into a 2-story house. But a lot of the stories that we're hearing from people today are just in shock to see that the storm surge brought on so much damage from a hurricane that wasn't even aiming directly for this area. We're seeing a lot of people being able to reunite with their family members who actually stuck it out, and they're walking across that bridge. And we're hearing from those folks, and we're going to continue to tell those stories here online, on air and online at WFLA.com. We're live in Madeira Beach, Maryland. Parker, 8 on your side.
Thanks, Marilyn. And farther north along the Nature Coast, the storm surge slammed Cedar Key, where some local businesses still hadn't recovered from the last storm. News Channel 8's Jeff Patterson has a look at the damage there.
Wow, some South Tampa residents say they have never seen the kind of flooding they got overnight. It was so bad, they say, in some areas that firefighters couldn't even respond to emergencies. News Channel 8's Ty Russell is live in Beach Park to tell us a little bit about how the folks there are moving forward after this storm moved through.
Yeah, Keith, I've been talking to neighbors for several hours, and they all have basically the same story, that they are thankful, they are safe and okay. And as we get a wider shot of the area, all the water that's left is what you see here. But some neighbors described it last night as being either waist deep or even chest deep in some areas. Now, this was an evacuation zone, so some neighbors did heed the warning and they got out of town. However, some stayed, and I talked to some neighbors who evacuated and some who stayed put.
Unfortunately, we had a fire last night we had to deal with.
Yeah, and what was that fire caused by?
I think a Tesla blew up in the garage.
Oh my God.
So we were fighting that fire until about 3 in the morning.
And when you say fighting that fire, what do you mean?
We were down there with garden hoses trying to control it. The police or the fire department wouldn't come because of too much water, so it was a shame.
The water got so high that the refrigerator actually tipped over and ended up floating in the garage. Our truck isn't working, but again, we're so lucky nothing got into the house. And so, like, our neighbors all around us have like several feet of water in their homes. And so if all we have to do is clean up a garage, I consider ourselves lucky.
I could see the water coming in, lost power around 11 o'clock on the cameras, and you could see from the backside that it was coming in pretty fast. You know, you live in South Tampa, you've got a pretty good understanding that there's a chance stuff like this happens, but to see it this bad, and for us, we bought in December, and so to see it happen this quickly, it's a little frustrating.
Yeah, they just bought that home in December, and they have a little newborn, so they definitely got out of the area, and they are trying to do some cleanup today. Now, that house fire that you saw, that wasn't the only fire in this neighborhood that fire crews had trouble responding to. So coming up at 5, I'll show you some video of the remnants of an EV fire. Also, we will show you other areas of South Tampa that were impacted hard by the hurricane. But for now, we are live in South Tampa. I'm Ty Russell, 8 on your side.
All right, here's some of the reported wind gusts that we saw out of the storm. So the Tampa International Airport had a 68-mile-per-hour wind gust. In Tampa, we had a 67-mile-per-hour wind gust. This is the highest measured wind gust we have so far, 82 miles per hour at St. Pete Airport. So that's hurricane force. And the hurricane force wind gusts were only along the coastline. Everyone else saw tropical storm force wind gusts. The Skyway Pier at 71, Holiday at 52, Newport Richey at 56, Brooksville at 62, and Weeki Wachee at 66 miles per hour. So it was very windy during the late afternoon and early evening hours. The winds have since calmed down quite a bit. We have cloudier skies. It's a little overcast, but we've had some sunshine throughout the day today. We're not seeing any rain right now on Max Defender 8, so for cleanup efforts, things can go ahead and get started because the winds are low enough. We're not going to see any more debris knocked down. The temperatures are warm, especially right now for the next couple of hours. We do have a couple of cooler spots in Newport Richey and Northport in the 70s, along with Arcadia, 90 in Bartow, 88 in Brandon, and 87 in Tampa right now. And so the winds aren't such that it's going to continue to mess up your yard for the rest of the afternoon and into the evening hours. It just gets calmer, so you can go ahead and start that cleanup. We've got around 15-mile-per-hour sustained winds. We've seen some gusts around 20 miles per hour in some locations, but we're getting a lot lighter as we head through the overnight hours, so I don't have any worries about wind closing bridges or anything like that. For those without power, it doesn't really start to get comfortable outside until after sunset. That's when we sink down into the low 80s and eventually into the upper 70s. For the weekend cleanup efforts, we still have some decent, robust chances for rain on Saturday and slightly fewer chances for rain on Sunday, but we will have to dodge showers, especially in the morning and the middle of the day on both Saturday and Sunday. It's not going to be a washout. You'll have your time to get outside and get things cleaned up and get things started looking more back to normal, but it's just not going to be a bone dry weekend. A lot of times after a storm rolls through, it pulls down cooler, drier air, and that just didn't happen with Helene. So we're not getting that break in the humidity. We're not getting the break in the rain. In fact, the tropical moisture that's still lingering over our area will make for some heavy downpours on both Saturday and again on Sunday.
In Citrus County, homeowners are waiting for the water to recede so they can begin cleaning up. 8 on your side's Beth Russo has a look at the devastation there.
Thank you, Beth. And as we go to break right now, you can always send us pictures and video of damage caused by Hurricane Helene, if it's safe for you to do so. And it should be at this point with the storm now out of our area. Just go to WFLA.com/report it. We'll be right back. You're watching News Channel 8.
The station on your side.
As recovery efforts continue in Sarasota following Hurricane Helene, we are now getting a closer look at the damage caused by the storm there. News Channel 8's Georgia MacArthur reports.
Boy, and once you go up in the air, you can really see some of the damage. Eagle 8 HD is up right now over Pinellas County. This is Sunset Beach, and if the photographer zooms in, you'll see how much sand has been displaced there. It's almost like the beach is gone in that area. We heard reports a lot of sand up until the middle of cars and covering streets. You can see they have the heavy machinery out there trying to move that sand back to where it belongs. Again, this is Sunset Beach. Eagle 8 HD is going to be up throughout our early evening newscasts, and we'll continue to bring you more pictures like this.
Max Defender 8, the most accurate weather radar in Florida.
And we've been combing through the pictures you guys have been sending us through Report It. This is from Kat and Pasagrille. Look how high the sand is on these cars. It's going to take a really long time to clean all of that out, just like we were just seeing on Eagle 8 there. Tons and tons of sand displaced along our area beaches. And I know no one still wants to be talking about the tropics, but I just want you to know that nothing else out there right now is headed our way. Let's go through it. So this is what's left of Helene. This is an area that has a 30% chance to develop. Long-term forecast models either don't develop it or push it in the general Texas, Louisiana area. So that's the only one to watch. We'll keep an eye on it. We've got Tropical Storm Joyce right here. It's a fish storm. We've got Hurricane Isaac up here, also a fish storm. And then we've got another possible area of development coming off the Cabo Verde Islands there with a 30% chance to develop, which would most likely also be a fish storm if it does develop. So lots going on in the tropics. Certainly the late start to the tropics. It is finally getting going. This is what it looks like in August a lot of times, and in September, not necessarily October, but we're just now getting into the thick of things with that. In terms of what we can expect locally, the clouds are really saving us from the 90s, so it's feeling a little bit more comfortable out there because we do still have a lot of people without power. We don't have any showers to worry about this evening. We're going to be nice and dry and quiet with the winds coming down a bit so that the cleanup efforts can continue into the evening hours. So not much wind, especially overnight. The sun sets at 7:20, should be a little on the cloudy side. The clouds are lingering and it'll be muggy for the evening hours, but not too hot. Nothing like that summertime heat. So let's talk about weekend rain chances because parts of the weekend will be interrupted by downpours. We still have a ton of tropical moisture over our area. So when the rain does form, it could be heavy at times. But luckily, we're in the clear for tonight. We'll be in the low 80s after sunset, waking up in the 70s. And we wake up to some chances for rain on both Saturday and Sunday. The chances for rain Saturday morning are mainly in Highlands, Hardy, and DeSoto, maybe scraping Manatee and Sarasota counties. This is 7 a.m. And then those showers make their way across our area by 10 a.m. We've got a really good downpour in Sebring and a couple of isolated showers making their way towards Pinellas, as well as down in Sarasota and Manatee counties. By 1 o'clock, we've got a swath of showers stretching from Pinellas across Hillsborough into Pasco and Hernando counties. And that's 1 o'clock. It moves on. And so most of the showers are working out of our area by 5 o'clock. Here's how it looks by 4 p.m. By 5 o'clock, we make the turn. And it'll be drier for Saturday night. So if you have a big, long project you want to stay outside and get done, the late afternoon into the early evening hours looks drier on Saturday. Sunday starts off with some showers as well. Hopefully everyone has power back by now, but Sunday morning will start on the cool side with a couple of showers out there. Here's how it looks by 6 a.m., few downpours. By 10 a.m., those downpours have consolidated into a single line, and then we're seeing those showers make their way onshore and continue to dry out for the evening hours, things getting a little bit quieter Sunday night moving into Monday. So rain over the next couple of days, heaviest over the weekend, getting much quieter on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. A lot of people have been driving through floodwaters, so you want to make sure you wash that car because it is salt water in most cases. And so brackish water, salt water, very nasty out there. Car wash forecast looking okay for the next couple of days, minus those spotty showers, especially on Saturday. Taking a look at your 8-day forecast. In those upper 80s on Saturday and Sunday, our rain chances go way down as we head into next week in that 30% range, and that means the 90s are back.
Wow. You know, we were just looking while you were talking, some of these images. The Eagle 8 HD is still up, flying around right now, Sunset Beach. And
look at that.
That's a wide shot, but we were looking at some tremendous pictures earlier of
boats
just
washed up on shore.
Yeah, the
really?
dock's just demolished.
Yeah.
And there's the bottom of the camera. As we zoom in, we'll see what else we can see here. Well, it looks like a beautiful day, but when we come back, we're going to show you a little bit more of what was actually really just crushed and devastated by this storm.
In the Pinellas County area over on the beaches. Yeah.
Okay, there's a zoom in. Let's hang on for a second. You can see it right there.
On that.
Look at those boats right up into the back of these condominiums. Beautiful location, a lot of cleanup to be done. We'll be right back with more after this.
When you see news happening, report it at WFLA.com.
It is our commitment to make Tampa Bay a better place to live.
By working together.
And uniting for what the city believes in.
Measuring success by building you up. Because when you're at the top of your game, you make us all unbeatable.
And if you need help, we're here.
Because we're in this together.
On your side.
So everybody can be proud of this place.
We're two teams with one goal.
To uplift this community we call home. This is News Channel 8, your official Buck station.
Well, crews have been really performing a lot of water rescues since last night, especially in Hernando County.
News Channel 8's Alessandra Young has been there as she was at Hernando Beach earlier today and has a message from the sheriff in that community. And from Hernando south we go to Manatee County, where people there are in cleanup mode as well after this storm. But they are expecting that this could take days, probably even weeks. Here's News Channel 8's Brianna Villegas.
If you're in need of support and resources following the storm, we want to let you know Feeding Tampa Bay and its disaster readiness team, they are ready to help. Hot meals will be served at the locations you see right here on your screen. They will be served until 6 p.m. tonight. They say water and flood kits will also be available at these locations. And we'll be right back.
Live, this is News Channel 8 at 4 on your side.
Well, we are now getting a much better look at all of the damage in the aftermath of Hurricane Helene. Good afternoon. I'm Stacy Scheibel.
I'm Keith Kate. Thank you for joining us. It is widespread along the west coast of Florida, as you know. In our viewing area from Sarasota to Hernando County in Hudson, neighbors are picking up the pieces after escaping the worst of the floodwaters.
That community is still recovering from Hurricane Idalia, and now it's looking to clean up and rebuild again. News Channel 8's Nicole Rogers is live in Hudson. I guess you saw firsthand, Nicole, how quickly those floodwaters can rise.
Keith, Stacy, we did, and it's a good thing that we got out when we did. As soon as that went over the seawall, we got out of here, and within minutes, this entire community was basically underwater. I wanted to show you the majority of the damage that we're seeing over here. Right behind me, you can get a look of just a glimpse into this damage, a dock completely dismantled, and an even jarring image right over here, a boat completely tipped in the air as its lift is dismantled.
My whole house is flooded.
Driving through Hudson Beach, you can see the devastation firsthand. Boats in the air, piles of furniture lining the streets, and people in disarray.
I had everything, taped up about 3 foot high, but this one went, well, you can see.
Bill escaped the storm surge late Thursday night, only to come back Friday morning to see this.
The water got up this high inside.
He walked us through his home to get a first-hand look at the damage.
And this is what the inside looks like.
Just walking through the front door, the devastation begins. You see, Bill just bounced back from the floodwaters Hurricane Idalia left behind a year ago. This living room was his favorite spot in the house.
This right here used to sit over there.
In the kitchen, floodwaters rose to about chest deep.
Here's the refrigerator.
That water line is just as prevalent outside, as Bill says his neighbor's docks got flipped during the storm.
The water went this high, so the pontoons, the bottom of the boat was about this high.
County officials say 135 people had to be rescued west of US 19. As for Bill, he says his next steps are just going to be taking it one day at a time. Next, he's going to have a company come in and take all of his furniture and put it out in his front yard. And from there, he's just going to take it where he can. Again, if you are here in Pasco County, you need a place to stay because your home might have got flooded, there are 5 shelters open. All 5 are listed on WFLA.com. Live in Hudson, Nicole Rogers, 8 on your side.
Hurricane Helene did a number on Sarasota's coastal communities last night. A lot of storm surge there. News Channel 8's Allison Henning has a closer look from Siesta Key.
And in Hillsborough County, residents woke up still in shock at the speed of the storm surge overnight. They say they've never seen anything like it. News Channel 8's Stacy DeSilva is live off US 41 in Ruskin. Stacy, they even saw it inland there.
They sure did, Stacy. The residents say when that water came rushing in here through US 41, it was moving fast from the Little Manatee River straight into their homes. The owner of this home here across the street has lived there for 26 years and now has to remodel his home again. Tom McGuire says this is how the nightmare begins. Again, he's lived here for decades and had never seen storm surge like what was predicted and what ended up happening. US 41 underwater and several feet of water inside people's homes. McGuire chose not to evacuate and rode out the storm in his house until he saw the surge coming with his own eyes.
I come out, I seen the water rising. I went in and moved 2 chairs off the porch. Before I got 2 chairs in, it was here.
Yeah, so people still really in shock and now trying to clean up after that storm surge yesterday. People are emptying out their homes, drying everything out outside, as well as neighbors helping neighbors. Reporting live in Ruskin, I'm Stacy DeSilva, 8 on your side.
Thank you, Stacy. And if you are looking for a way to help your community after Helene, you can always donate blood. One Blood says they need people eligible to donate as soon as possible because the need for blood doesn't stop even during a storm. To donate, you can visit a donor center or Big Red Bus blood drive.
The surge that we saw with Helene was record-setting in multiple locations. The old record was 6.04 feet in Port Manatee, and they got just 2 feet above that. Excuse me, the old record was 3.69. They got just over 6 feet, and so that's just over 2 feet above that old record. And the old record for East Bay was 4.56 feet. They got 7.2 feet. And so around 2.5 feet above the old records from Clearwater to St. Pete to Old Port Tampa Bay. And so certainly higher than what we saw with the Dahlia by about 2 feet and higher than most of our records out there as well. As we head into recovery mode, I wanted to point out how often the same area has been struck. Within 13 months, 3 hurricanes have made landfall within a couple of 100 miles of each other. The yellow line is most recently Helene, which was a Category 4, and then we had Debbie, which was a Category 1, and then Idalia last season, which was a Category 3. So all in a very succinct line there, and so lots and lots of damage in that one zone. Very unfortunate. Very close to each other. We have Perry, Deckle Beach, Fish Creek, Tennille, and Gina right just to the north of Horseshoe Beach. And so Horseshoe Beach has been on the dirty side of all 3 of those systems. Luckily, we do have a little bit of cloud cover today. That's helping keep it a bit cooler because unfortunately, a lot of folks still don't have power. Others have to be outside working to start cleaning things up. And so it's nice to not be in the 90s. We are in the upper 80s, but still. We've got drier conditions on Max Defender 8, so cleanup efforts should continue. Our temperatures will start to get out of those upper 80s and into the mid to low 80s around sunset, and then after that upper 70s and low 80s. We've got general nice winds out there in between 10 and 15 miles per hour for the most part, a little stronger in Tampa and St. Pete, and our wind gusts are not damaging at all. We're not seeing any measurable wind gusts in most locations, and we've got a 23 mile per hour wind gust up in Crystal River. The cool down will be slow until sunset, and then we sink down into a more comfortable temperature zone. It does look like we're going to see some decent chances for downpours again over the weekend. So I'll walk you through the timing of the cleanup and how to avoid the showers over the weekend coming up in just a few minutes. That's a look at weather. We'll be right back.
Eagle 8 HD coverage is brought to you by your Suncoast Hyundai dealers. Visit your local dealer today or shop buyhyundai.com.
Hurricane Helene really took a toll on Davis Islands, dealing serious damage to some businesses there. Ada on your sides, Shannon Benkin has that story.
Right now in Hernando Beach, residents are facing devastation. Neighbors who evacuated were able to return to their homes to get a first look early this afternoon. News Channel 8's Brittany Muller has been out there all day. And Brittany, what are you seeing there?
Stacey, the storm surge was no joke out here on Hernando Beach. Neighbors, just like the one behind me, saw at least 4 feet of water inside of her home, and now residents are trying to help one another. These are men with the Pasco County Fire Rescue, and they're trying to salvage whatever they can for these neighbors. Now, it's incredible to see this tight-knit community come together to help one another during such a devastating time. We also know from Hernando County, nearly 17,000 people are without power at this time. Utility crews are in this area working to restore lights. Debris pickup will begin tomorrow. Stacey?
Brittany, boy, it's such a helpless feeling for so many of these people. Just where to start, what to do. How is the county helping right now?
Well, minutes ago, Stacey, we just learned that Hernando County is opening a family resource center in Spring Hill at the Weeki Wachee Area Club. They'll have readily available for these residents in such dire need during this really devastating time.
All right, Brittany Muller live for us in Hernando Beach. Thank you.
Max Defender 8, the most accurate weather radar in Florida.
Taking a look at some more of those photos and videos that you guys have sent us in via Report It, WFLA.com/report it. If you'd like to share something, look how high the water is. This is from Kendra. She sent it in from Siesta Key. This was yesterday afternoon as the water was starting to rise before the sunset. So we can imagine that it got even higher than that because we know area water levels continued to rise as we made our way through the overnight hours. Now, there's a lot going on in the tropics right now, but not a lot you have to worry about. And so this is what's left of Helene. This is Hurricane Ida. Isaac, going to be a big fish storm. This is Tropical Storm Joyce, also going to be a big fish storm. Now, there's another area coming off the coastline of Africa there with a 30% chance to develop. This is the only one I'm keeping an eye on. This area of disturbed weather right here with a 30% chance to develop. Right now, long-term forecast models do push it into the Gulf, possibly towards Louisiana. But once again, this is one of those scenarios where it's way too soon to tell if it actually is going to form and where it's actually going to end up. But that's what's going on, looking a lot more like mid-September in the tropics instead of late September. As far as what you can expect out there area-wide, we've got some cloud cover, and that's saving us from the 90s in a lot of cases. Not much in terms of rain to worry about. We had a few light showers today, and we're looking at quieter conditions tonight. And so for areas, for people trying to get things back to normal, this weekend is going to cooperate partially. We do have some chances for rain in there. Unfortunately, it's not going to get very cool tonight for those without power. We're in the mid to low 80s for the evening hours as those clouds linger, and we'll wake up in the upper 70s and low 80s tomorrow morning. But the good news is much lighter winds, so you can go ahead and start the yard cleanup because we're not going to see any gusts that would continue to mess the yard up even further. Tomorrow morning, waking up in those 70s with a couple of showers in Highlands, Hardy, and DeSoto, and that's where our morning chance for showers is. By 10 a.m., we've got a really decent downpour near Sebring and a couple of isolated showers lined up ready to push on shore in Pinellas. They do push on shore and they thrive in growing in intensity and coverage just a little bit by 2 o'clock, stretching from St. Pete all the way up to Zephyr Hills and Inverness through downtown Tampa as well. And so you do have to dodge a few afternoon showers, but by 4 o'clock, the rain's headed out. And so Saturday evening looking really nice and quiet, getting a little cooler as well. Waking up on Sunday to another morning chance for showers. So downpours out there on Sunday morning early. And here's how it looks by 6 a.m. Decent downpours. Probably the peak of the rain chances is 6 a.m. on Sunday morning, because by 10 a.m. those showers have consolidated into a single line that pushes through our area during the middle of the day. And then just like on Saturday, we do have a nice quiet evening headed our way. By 5 or 6 o'clock, we are drying out, and that leaves us with quieter and cloudy conditions to continue the cleanup. So rain chances over the next couple of days are highest over the weekend. Saturday's the slightly wetter day than Sunday, and it gets really nice and dry on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And so with those chances for rain down to 30% on those days, that'll be plenty of time for things to really start to dry out and get a little bit less soggy. Even by the middle to end of next week, we're only up to a 40% chance for rain, so it's not looking terrible out there. As far as the 8-day forecast goes, we've got morning and midday chances for showers on both Saturday and Sunday, getting a little drier for the evening hours. Taking a look at next week, we get drier to start off with very light winds. That does mean the 90s are back, though, so it's going to be awfully hot next week. The winds start to pick up again on Thursday and Friday out of the east. That makes our chances for showers a little bit later in the afternoon and evening hours, and that trend continues into next weekend, which looks a tad breezier. That's a look at weather. We'll be right back.
Stay safe and be prepared this hurricane season with News Channel 8 and the Max Defender 8 weather team. We're on your side on TV, online, on the app, and on these iHeart radio stations.
Yes, and because of the hurricane, a number of sporting events in the Tampa Bay area are affected.
Yeah, News Channel 8's Kenny Morales joining us now to tell us a little bit more about some of these postponements, and there are several.
Yeah, Keith, from high school sports all the way up to the pros. Obviously, Friday's typically a huge night for high school football. Not the case today. Most games have been postponed to this weekend or early next week. In the pro ranks, the Tampa Bay Lightning were scheduled to play a preseason game tonight at Amalie Arena against the Nashville Predators. That game has been rescheduled for October 7th. If you have a ticket for tonight's game, it's still good for October 7th, so hang on to that ticket. The Rowdies were set to host Hartford Athletics Saturday night at Al Lang. That match has been postponed as well. A makeup date for that match will be announced at a later time. As for the Bucks-Eagles game, that game is still scheduled to be played. Bucks practice this morning, so looks like they'll be good to go Sunday at 1.
All right, that's a home game. I've lost track of
that
time.
is a home game as well. It's at Ray J.
So good luck. Maybe people can leave some of their troubles behind and
hopefully
go watch a football
Escape
game.
for a little bit.
We need the Bucks to win.
And it's pretty nice outside right now. I mean, all things considered, it's weird when you look at the day.
Yeah, it's not quite as nice as some post-tropical systems where it's pulled down that drier air.
Right, because it's still hot.
Yeah, it's still really hot. But the good news is no rain tonight, no more wind, so you can start the cleanup. I'm not worried about bridges closing for more gusty winds or anything like that.
Good. We'll have some rain over the weekend, but nothing like we've seen, right?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, thanks for joining us. News Channel 8 at 5 is straight ahead.
Stay safe and be prepared this hurricane season with News Channel 8 and the Max Defender 8 weather team. We're on your side on TV, online, on the app, and on these iHeart radio stations.
Closed captioning sponsored by Culpeper Curland. Auto accident? Call Culpeper Kurland. Compassionate, kind. Culpeper Kurland.